Okay, I'm not going to pretend that there aren't left-wing creators who say hypocritical things. It's just that it's way more common on the right. There's a Twitter account called This You, and it exposes all types of hypocrisy. I'm about to show you some of the funniest self-owns and exposed hypocrisy that you've ever seen. Let's get right into it. This right-wing Twitter account said about gun control, it was never about common sense gun laws. It was always about erasing the Second Amendment and gun bans. A couple years later, they said, common sense gun control is banning leftists and trans from owning firearms. Wait, I thought left-wingers didn't own firearms. I thought they were gun-hating snowflakes. And oh yeah, you don't think we should be banning firearms from getting into the hands of dangerous criminals, but you think that leftists and trans people are dangerous. That's why you don't want them to have firearms? Okay. This one is just hilarious. So Matt Walsh, everyone's favorite closet pedo, said in 2019, burning the flag doesn't abolish or harm the country in any way. It just makes people very emotionally upset. Speech that makes people emotionally upset is the only speech that needs to be protected. And then he said last week, make it a crime to burn the American flag. What the hell? Right-winger Valentina Gomez said in 2024, the people that burn the flag never fought to protect it. Jail those terrorists. And then earlier this year, whoever doesn't like our First Amendment, with all due respect, can fuck off. Does she know that burning the flag is protected in the First Amendment? This right-wing account said, triggered males are the most pathetic of the species. Cry more. And then 3 years later, he's coping and seething over Cracker Barrel changing their logo, claiming it's woke now. Nick Sorter, and I'm just embarrassed that I'm even platforming this guy. I know I only have like 1,000 subscribers, but any amount of extra coverage that this guy gets just makes me want to gag. Anyway, he said last year, leftists absolutely hate free speech. And then soon after he said, breaking, DHS will now begin penalizing immigrants for anti-American behavior in social media posts. Good. Stop bringing in people who hate us. Posting anti-American rhetoric or expressing common cause with terrorist organizations is not okay. That's weird. I thought it was leftists who hate free speech. Representative Nancy Mace, everyone's favorite bean eater, tweeted in July, just voted yes on the one big beautiful bill. And then last week she said, breaking, national debt just hit 37 trillion. Not just a number, but a bill our kids can't afford to pay. But then there's a community note here that says, she voted yes on H.R. 1, which is estimated to increase the national debt by $4.5 trillion. In February, this right-wing account said, gay marriage is a stupid fight to take on right now. I've made it clear. I don't think we should touch it and that we have other priorities. Okay, I have a million beefs with conservatives, but if you're willing to let bygones be bygones and just let gay people have equal rights, then that's wonderful. And until he's asked, should the Supreme Court overturn gay marriage nationwide? And then he says, absolutely. These are my favorite ones. This guy said, Joe Biden is not my president, soon after he took office. And then earlier this year said, yes, Trump is your president, even if it hurts your feelings. Here's another account that I am extremely embarrassed to platform, and I'm regretting it immediately. But they said, free speech should be all speech, especially the speech we hate. And then soon after he says, anyone who burns the American flag should be arrested for treason. The Supreme Court ruled that burning the American flag is protected under free speech. I don't know whether to laugh at that or just feel complete disdain and a lack of hope for our society. I don't know anymore. Benny Johnson, whose YouTube account has mysteriously gained like 2 million subscribers this year, even though his views are going down and down, he said, in 2023, Joe Biden has photo op with Trump's wall as Biden's Gestapo arrest migrants, clear filthy city for visit. Am I reading that wrong, or does he not know how to English well? And then later he says, how cringe. Tim Walz just called ICE the modern day Gestapo. It's okay when you do it, but it's not okay when someone else does it. Okay. Got it. MAGA Gestapo Barbie says, write in English, the US is not a Hispanic country. And then a couple weeks later, tweets in Spanish. She said, que huetazo. Se lo ganó por rata. Fucking pinche estúpida. Eres una rata. Mira tu cara. Oh, this is a classic. Charlie Kirk, ban TikTok. And then later celebrating Trump's saving of TikTok. Just showcasing for the world to see that he doesn't have any really deeply held values. He just goes along with whatever the Trump train tells him to do. Whatever keeps his business model and his revenue flowing, right? Our boy is back. He said, the Epstein files come tomorrow. Any living people on that list should immediately be jailed. And then later he says, being in the Epstein files does not mean you're a pedophile. Someone said, it looks like President Trump wasn't mentioned even once in all of the Epstein files. Case closed. The president has been exonerated once again. And then later, after finding out Trump is kind of in the files, she said, being mentioned in the thousands of Epstein files does not incriminate President Trump. If there was anything incriminating against him, in the files, Joe Biden would have released them. This shallow argument that Biden would have released the files if he knew Trump was in them is stupid, because we all know that there's Democrats implicated in the files too. We know that Bill Clinton was going to that island. Democrats and Republicans are both on the same team when it comes to protecting Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein was a Democrat for a long time. People don't know that. He donated to Democratic candidates, but he was also best friends with Donald Trump for 10 years, leading up to his death. It's clear why both parties are protecting him. In 2013, Trump tweeted, President should not be telling the Washington Redskins to change their name. Our country has far bigger problems. Focus on them, not nonsense. So a professional sports team changing their name, presidents shouldn't be focusing on that. And then, as you know, earlier this year, in Trump's own words, he says, the Washington whatevers should immediately change their name back to the Washington Redskins football team. Oh my God, this one. The Epstein issue is about protecting children. There's no greater cause, posted in July. The very next day, after Trump told MAGA to stop focusing on the Epstein case because he's obviously in the files. The Epstein files are important, but are low on the list of what most Americans care about. That's just the truth. One day he says there's no greater cause, and literally the next day, it's low on the list of what most Americans care about. If you made it to this part of the video, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more content like this, I would love to make more. Like the video, comment. It'll show me that people want to see more of this. And subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Anyway, hope everyone has a good holiday weekend. See you later.